Relax and get loose while I put you up on game. The Figure Booth with Josh and Nate. This that podcast for those in the know. Batman vs. Iron Man, how would it go? We talking one of a kind, collectibles. Mezco toys are respectable. It's unacceptable if it's not in the packaging. Nate don't take pics if you ain't rapping it. Nate's dirty tricks are always happening. But damn it, man, don't you be stressing. Round here we believe in plastic confessions. We trying to figure out the figures that's gonna stand the test of time. That G.I. Joe handmade hit me in the spine. There's perfection in the way that these toys are made. But I also wanna know, do I pick Wade or Slade? So this is where I come to kick it with the guys. The Figure Booth. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. You have made it to another episode of the Figure Booth. I am Josh, aka Prime to the First.
Hey guys, this is Nate, aka FigureFan_Nate, and you've reached episode 38, which we're calling the Greats of 2021.
And hopefully you were enabled to buy some of these greats.
Yeah, if you didn't see it, I was just enabled a second ago. Unexpectedly, I was like, whoa, I'm entering a podcast and there's an enabler shirt right there.
Enablers. And we need the Mike High School Creation soundbite, the points.
It looks really official, though. I was telling you, I like the Prime Arcade on it, but it also has the enabler.
Shout out to
like
Kevin,
only
the Better Baron, for hooking me up with this shirt.
Yeah, those are really cool shirts. And I know, shout out to Kevin again. If you guys aren't aware, Kevin's actually selling enabler shirts now on his website.
Yep.
So if you want to be part of that enabler crew, get one of those shirts.
Yeah.
Might not be as cool as Prime's. Like, I don't think we're going to get the OG enabler shirts with the
no.
Prime or the Nate on it.
Yeah.
But at least it says enablers. And I think we're all, if you collect toys, you kind of are an enabler.
Yeah. And then we can talk about the tiers of enablers. You know, you could be a prospect that got your vest, and then we'll go from there.
Maybe start tracking your own points. See if you beat Prime.
Yeah, everyone's going to beat me. I'm always at the bottom of the chart for some reason.
How does this work again?
I think it's definitely rigged, and I'm definitely always last. So I just figured out how to play the game. But yeah, let's dive into top greats of 2021, which is crazy because we're coming towards the end of the year, ready for a new year.
At the end of 2021, we're in December. I can't believe it. You guys remember? I think it was. I can't remember what episode number it was specifically. It was one of our early ones, though. Gosh, it might have been like maybe one. I'm counting right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our 8th episode.
Wow.
Was the greats so far, and it was in May.
Wow.
So that was kind of like a mid-year thing where we're talking about our figures up to that point. But that one, the community was really actively involved, kind of told us their feedback. I was just actually going back and listening to it. I'm like, I wonder if I picked any of the same figures that are from that list.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But yeah, me and Josh kind of put together our own little list of figures that we think deserve the spotlight in 2021. There's a lot of shit that came out this year. Yeah, we're both kind of different collectors, so we don't collect the same stuff. So I think our list probably be a little bit more diverse. I mean, we got a lot of the Mezco stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll cross the streams on that.
A little bit of crossing streams. And who doesn't want that?
But yeah, I think everybody's sort of probably thinking about that now. Like, what are the top figures of the year for me? Yeah. Maybe if you missed out on some of these figures, you might want to go check them out again because they're on our list. But I'm thinking of 2021. It's hard to know like what figures came out this year and what didn't. Yep. There's so many delays.
You get the delays. You get your pre-orders mixed up, and then and it always at the beginning of the year. It's like something you pre-ordered. Did that come out this year? Oh, that technically came out. And so like with a lot of top 10 lists, it's like the top 10s or our top 10s. It's the year that the figure was released. That's irrelevant. We're talking about like when we acquired it. And there's always going to be like an asterisk because it's our list. So if you don't agree with it, great.
Take a hike. Tell us in the comments if you don't.
Tell us in comments your list, and I'll appreciate and I'll like your list. Like, there's no need to have all the same list. Same list. If we all had the same list, that would be super boring. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine going to like a Jay Hernandez and it's top figs of 2021, and then you go to Unparalleled the Universe and he covers the exact same 10 figs?
It's all the same. Yeah, that would get
so boring so fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to pick ones that are maybe a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have one that we didn't talk about, let us know in the comments. You guys have been really great. We got a lot of comments on our last video, which was the Tis the season. Yeah. Thinking about different gift ideas. We got some feedback that people really like talking about the organization of their figures. So maybe we'll go into that at some point.
Yep.
But yeah, just remind everyone, it's that season. Yes, we're going to buy things for ourselves, but make sure you're buying stuff for other people and be creative about it.
Mm-hmm.
We're all toy collectors. Josh is going to get whatever figure he wants. So maybe getting him a figure every time isn't always the best idea.
Yeah.
Get him something else that I think he might use.
Yeah, for sure. So what makes a figure on your top 10 list? What are some
qualifications?
What are some qualifications for that?
What makes it great? I think what makes it great for me is a figure that I've used a lot of, or one that I consistently want to pull off the shelf.
Yeah.
That for me is one that will stand out on my list. Or if I've had a lot of fun doing shots with it, like I tend not to talk about, like I can get a figure in hand, but I might not mess with it a whole lot. Right. So does it really make sense for me to talk about a figure that maybe I haven't really posted because I probably haven't used it much?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to focus on things that actually felt like I got a lot of use out of it. I got my money's worth. I feel like it's a good value. I feel like if somebody was going to pick it up, they'd be happy with it. You know, that's kind of my qualifications. What about yourself?
Yeah.
Like what makes it to your list?
Because I don't take a lot of pictures, so I don't mess with them a whole lot. But if I find myself messing with the figure a lot, I'm like, oh, this is obviously a good figure. And it's just that first initial reaction, not only buying it, but then when you take them out of the package and you're like, it's that in hand, you're like, ooh, because I've had some figures where I have it and I'm like, like there's no X factor there. But there's other figures, you take them out and you're like, oh man, I'm excited to have this figure. And now like I'm messing with it, I'm posing it. I may not take pictures of it, but I have them close here up on the shelf, or I have them back on one of the back shelves. And I like seeing them on a daily basis. I'm like, cool, that's, I try to rotate some of these back shelves with new current plastic confections that I pick up. And if a figure stays there on the shelf for quite some time, I'm like, oh, that's probably one of my top figures because they've stood there and survived a rotation. I had some other figures in the beginning of the year, and then I take them off. I'm like, all right, and then they go either, in one of the D-tops downstairs, or they go up in a tub somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good qualification, because like shelf space is valuable, especially when you collect at the level that we do. So when you've got a figure that is standing the test of time and stays on that shelf throughout rotations, it's like, okay, that's probably one of my favorites, because you don't want to put it away. If I put a figure back in the box, there's a good chance it's falling pretty low on the list and may end up getting sold at some point, because I take everything out of the box.
Yeah.
Some stuff I have to put back in just for space concerns, but I've realized that once I put something in the box, it's pretty rare that I go back and take it back out again, because if I was going to put it in there, it's already kind of fallen low on my interest, and maybe I'll change at some point. I go through these stages where like, oh, well, I'm going to go crazy into this now. Yeah. And I'll break out those figures again. But for the most part, if it stays on the shelf, if it stays in my display, it's one of the tops. Yeah. Yeah. It's valuable space. So you got to accommodate where you can, but that's what we're talking about with the focus too. Like, if there's a lot of stuff that I just don't keep out, I'm keeping it in a box. Like, why am I keeping that around? That's clearly not a figure that I care as much about. So
so we're going to do 5 figures each. What's your number? I don't know, 1, 5. For me,
we'll go bottom up.
Okay, bottom up. What's your bottom?
What were you going to say? I want to hear.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, to me, almost sometimes numerical doesn't I personally don't have like, oh, this is like my number 1 fig. They're all equal. I see them all as equals. I don't see ranks. No.
Okay, well that's cool.
No, but there's some fun factors where I'm like, oh, I have preferences. So I guess, I just contradicted there myself. But hey,
well, why don't you start with 1 and we'll just go from there.
Yeah.
So what's one of yours? It doesn't have to be the top. Doesn't have to be the bottom.
Yeah, just somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
One of my favorites is the NECA Frankenstein. That's one of my
good choice.
One of my tops. Is I was surprised with it right out of the package. One, I was excited to get it because it seemed like everyone wanted it, and then I acquired it, and just right out of the box, he was so much fun to mess with, and I messed with him for a good minute. And I was finding myself like having him on my desk. I took him to a different room, and I had him in my hand for a while, and I was like, cool. And he's been up there on the shelf since I bought him. So I'm like, all right, he's lasted a couple of rotations. So yeah, the NECA Frankenstein is on my top list of 2021.
And NECA just continuously kills it. I know they get a lot of poor feedback, and this is like the argument that everybody always goes to. Oh, they're cheap and they break. They're cheap and they break. Like, have you collected a NECA figure recently? If you're the one that keeps saying that,
yeah,
I don't know if you picked up a modern NECA, because they have improved so much.
Oh yeah,
and I just feel like they got this stigma that sometimes people just do not want to shake.
Yeah.
But one thing about NECA figures that I am never disappointed in is the sculpt, and usually the paintwork.
Yeah.
It's just so on par. And the Frankenstein stuff, the Universal Monsters. I can't wait for that new Mummy. I saw the Mummy pictures, and it just looks great. And yeah, I saw a picture of that new Frankenstein, the Raphael Frankenstein that's coming out.
Yeah.
Looks killer. So
yeah, that looks really good.
Good choice, man.
Yep.
It's one of those that, like, I have my horror selection, section of figures, which is all normally NECA. I've been limiting myself on buying those.
Yeah.
But that Frankenstein's one that I'm just going to have to add to the collection, especially if it's on your list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have them?
I don't have them.
Oh, did I just enable you?
I think you might have enabled me. Points. We need to have that as one of our comments in here. You guys need some kind of soundbite for that.
I'll have to. We got the soundbite from Mike. I have to get it from Kevin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that definitely needs to happen. All right. Well, good choice. I'm going to pick one that is very surprising to myself, just because of the roller coaster of emotions I went through with this line. If you're a longtime listener, you probably know what I'm going to talk about. But the G.I. Joe classified Cobra Troopers. That's one of the ones on my list. And I would have never thought that if you had asked me that back in the greats during May.
You were talking shit like
I was
crazy.
Talking mad shit about G.I. Joe.
Starting beef with Joe's.
Yeah, the Cobra Island crap, I couldn't stand how hard it was to get. I thought Hasbro was just putting us through the ringer with distribution. Like, this is fucking Hasbro we're talking about. How can they not get me a good supply of figures? But I meet my own words, because as I picked them up, I've gotten way more into the line again.
Yeah.
And it really started with those Cobra Troopers. I got them in hand. I was like, dude, these things are fucking awesome. They articulate great. They've got great accessories. They become awesome Batman beat up fodder in some of my recent shots. They're just great for stand-in villains, and they articulate it well enough to where, like, they're a $20 figure, but they feel like a Mafex at some point.
Yeah.
And you can just fill out a scene with them. I've got at least 3 or 4. They're just really fun to use. I highly recommend the G.I. Joe stuff now. It's just,
I'm gonna see you with the Joe shirt next time.
Seriously, and knowing is half the battle. And I didn't know what I didn't know when I didn't have them in hand. Yeah. Now I see why the hype is so crazy. Because after I've used them and used them in shots, they're just really great to use. Very easy to use as like some kind of bad guy. And it doesn't matter what universe it applies to. Maybe a Joe doesn't go with Batman. Who cares? They're a good bad guy.
Hindsight is key.
It is. It's 2020, man. Well, maybe that's a bad reference. This COVID was a bad year, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. Next one? What's the next one?
Well, you're going to go into the next one now. What's your next?
One that I was like, I'm not going to pick. I'll try not to get into the hype. Didn't feel like I needed it. Was the Sentinel Miles Morales. Yeah, freaking blown away.
That's
a great figure. Like, that guy, I took that guy with me for like a whole week everywhere I was going. He was my pocket fig everywhere. It was just like I was always posing him somewhere. I was up on the shelf, or every time we'd record, he'd be here hanging out, and he's been moving up on the shelf. Like, there's been a couple times where I'm like, and I just put him on a different shelf. So Miles Morales, like, just hands down, that line is tempting me to get that Peter B. Parker. I'm like, I'm on the fence. But yeah, Miles Morales, such a fun fun figure, and I'm glad that GameStop did like a second run on him because the prices kind of got crazy there for a minute. But I was able to snag them when they had their sale, so it was good.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those figures that surprised me. I thought I was content with a Miles Morales from Mafex. I was like, I got a Miles. I don't need one.
Yeah.
And then I think it was our friend Mike Uziel or Figure Fix on Instagram. He started just talking about how great that figure was. He's like, this might be my favorite figure of the year. Yeah. This thing's amazing. And he kept saying all this stuff. And I was like, all right. We'll see.
But simmer down.
Yeah, if you think about it, Sentinel is 1,000 toys. Those guys are known for great articulation. So I started thinking about it more. I'm like, okay, maybe he's not just blowing steam here. Might be something great. Yeah. And I got it in hand, and I totally agree. It was way better than I expected it was going to be.
Yeah.
And not only does it articulate, but it feels like really, really solid.
Yeah.
Very, very solid figure.
And it looks like it stepped right out of the movie. That's what I love. Yeah. They captured that. The Matrix one, it was missed a little bit, and he was so freaking tiny.
Tiny and flimsy, it just felt kind of cheap for what you're getting for $90.
Yeah, the Sentinel. I love the big eyes, the different expressions. Oh man, fun figure. Yeah, really fun.
The Sentinel feels like you're getting what you're paying for.
Right.
That's the best way quality. I can describe it. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, great pick, man. Let's see. I will go with Super 7 Leonardo.
Oh, nice.
From the TMNT line. I got Raphael. I love Raphael, but that came out 2020 technically. Leonardo being the best turtle in the TMNT. That seems to be a very unpopular opinion. A lot of people are like, as long as it's not Leonardo. Everybody hates Leonardo. Nobody likes the leader. I was always a guy of the leaders. I love the leaders.
Kev's the Leo of the enablers, so nobody likes the.
That's sad. I like you, Kev. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't like the leader because it's like, oh, that's the good guy. He's no fun.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, man, I was like, man, I want to be like a fucking Leo. That guy's a boss. He can come in there. Everybody listens to what he's got to say. He's one of the best fighters on the team. He's always leading the charge, And when I got that Super 7 in hand, it brought me straight back to being a kid because I had the Playmates version when I was a kid. I always play with it. And then when I got that, and I loved how they gave him an extra head sculpt that was more of like a scowling face. They gave him some attitude. I love that figure. It's really great. It's one of my favorites in my collection. I have a lot of NECA stuff, and that's my go-to for TMNT. But for that nostalgia train, Super 7 does a great job. I'm really impressed with that Leonardo. So if you guys are on the debating, I know we got the Party Wagon that's out there. They're offering all 4 turtles on their website. I think Donatello is just now starting to ship, which is the last one I let line. So if you order all 4 turtles now from Super 7, you're probably going to get all of them very soon.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that line. It's great.
Nice. Yeah. My next one is the Marvel Select Immortal Hulk. That is such a beauty of a figure. One, it's massive, but the sculpt, the paintwork, like it just blew me. Like that is like my definition of Hulk. I wish you would have came with a different head sculpt, just one more where it was just maybe like just no expression. Because once he has his mouth open, he's like yelling, and the other one he has his teeth grinning. I would have just loved like
just a blank face, like a
blank face. Yeah. Very stoic. That would have been cool. But that Immortal Hulk is so badass. And it was so hard for me to get him too, because two of my orders got canceled. And then shout out to Darth Ondata, because he helped me out and he tracked one down from his local comic book shop and shipped it to me, and still just charged me like, hey, it's what the comic book shop is charging me, and then the shipping, obviously, right? But he was going for like $60 to $80, double the price. And it's so funny because Darth Ondata sent it out to me. I was like, and I was hunting, and then I think it was Plasty or somebody was like, hey, hit up Darth. And I was like, all right. And Darth came through. And then like 2 weeks later, Amazon's like, oh yeah, remember that order that we canceled or we thought was lost? It ended up showing up on my doorstep. And I was like, cool, now I got 2. So I have one in box, and I opened up one. So that Immortal Hulk is definitely worth it. And he's, if you at the end of the day, if someone tries to steal that Hulk, just throw it at them, and you'll knock out somebody. You're gonna knock them out. You're gonna Hulk smash. That thing is massive. Yeah.
There's a lot of weight in that figure. Yeah. And the Marvel Select stuff's already a little bit bigger, but yeah, that Hulk looks great. And from what I understand now, it's still pretty hard to find. Like if you didn't get it, it's probably not going to be one you're going to find easy or at a cheap price.
Yeah,
so
I freaking love that Hulk.
Yeah, Prime's flexing that he says he has 2 now. 1 sealed, 1 open.
That's right.
I'm
keeping one Ernie and the other one's
nice. You're still kind of a mint on card guy.
Yeah, it's the Ernie inside of me. So
yeah, it's hard not to. I had the same tendencies where like I want to buy 2 of things. I'm like I want one that's untouched, but then it never gets touched. I'm like,
you gotta touch it. You gotta touch it.
It needs to be touched. It needs to be fondled.
You gotta touch it though. You gotta release it.
I fondle my figures. You should be proud of that.
I just
sometimes I need a good fondling.
What's yours? What is your next fig?
You're like, please just move on. Stop talking about it. I took kind of a different avenue with some of my collecting this year, and I've got more pre-orders on the way. Third-party figure, the V-Toys Robin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, V-Toys Robin's great figure.
Yeah,
it's one of those figures that really surprised me. Mm-hmm. And I was really hesitant. I'm like, I don't know, man. And Prime's, swearing up and down. He's like, you need to get that Robin. You need to get that Robin. He kept telling me about it. I'm like, well, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
Missed out on the pre-order. Comes back. Don't pre-order it. I'm like, shit. Totally missed out. Started seeing pictures of it, and I started like just thinking to myself, like, man, why did I pass on that? Because I've seen so many good things about it. Sure enough, I find a guy that has one for retail, sells it to me. Thank God for the Discord for that.
Nice.
Get it in hand. And it really, really impressed me. For being a third-party figure, it felt like a Mezco. Lots of accessories, great quality of cloth goods, amazing articulation.
Yeah.
Better than some of the Mezcos that I have. It moves better than that. Maybe a lot more willing to try third-party stuff.
Yeah.
And definitely, I've got like 3 more third-party pre-orders now, just because of the V-Toys Robin and the confidence that it gave me in investing in that stuff.
Yeah.
The V-Toys Robin was a big surprise for me. Definitely kind of changed my perspective a little bit on third-party figures, and sort of changed my goal for collecting. Like, I'm going to do that more now.
Yeah.
I'm going to break outside of the mold. Yeah. For so long, I was just so focused on like just certain, like only DC. And you start to miss out on a lot of really cool stuff when you do that.
Yeah.
The occasional Marvel would come in, but like if you get a property or something that you might not know anything about, but the figure looks cool.
Yeah.
Try it out. Especially if everybody like your friends are telling you how good it is. Like,
and sometimes it's not even a different property, but even a different line. Because I dove into 118. My next fig is the Acid Rain Lugans. Like the little PJ guys. Oh my God, those things were so awesome. Once Mario from 796 Studios had them in hand, and he sent me some pictures. I was like, I need to have them. And we went in on a set, and he sent me the ones I wanted. And man, those figures were so freaking fun. I was messing with them. They come in really fun colors, super articulated, and they've been up on the shelf since I bought them. Like, I look at them, and they're cool. They're something completely, totally different.
I can kind of see them back
there. There's a couple hanging back there. There's the yellow one up there and the blue one, and it's cool when people walk in. They're like, what? And that's like one of the first figures that grabs their attention. It's like, oh, who are those little guys? Because they're like little PJs, but they got guns and they're tinier. It's
so
cool.
Unique. Yeah. Didn't they just come out with a new wave too?
Yeah, they did come out with a new wave. They look really cool. There was so much going on with my pre-order show. I was like, there's no way I can add more pre-orders. I'm gonna forget about them. Like,
Are they? Are the new ones up on PI? What is it?
PIA? Yeah, Pocket in Action. I think most of them are sold out. They might have like one big set still available.
What does that stand for? Pocket in Action?
Pocket in Action figure.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want Lugans, maybe you'll find them on PIA. It sounds like you're.
Sometimes they restock and they do sales. Like, I know they'll have certain colors on sale. So,
they popped up on BBTS too, right? The original ones. I don't know if the new ones did, but
I don't know if the new ones did, but they're usually a little bit more. Just the PIA. You'll be getting it overseas, so it'll take a little bit longer to show up.
So that's one of the ones that's on your list.
Yep.
The Lugans.
Cool.
Let's see. I'm going to go a little higher on the list.
Okay.
the Mafex Hush Batman.
Okay.
Specifically the blue version.
Oh, okay.
I know people like the black suit or the blue suit. I'm a blue and gray suit guy.
Okay.
If I had to pick one suit, it's always going to be blue and gray. That's why I love the PX Sovereign Knight. That's why I love a lot of that other stuff, that the blue and gray. I actually didn't mess with it a lot when I first got it. I had unboxed it. I posed it a little bit. I think I maybe did 1 or 2 shots, just kind of vanilla sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't until like maybe 2 weeks ago that I really started to mess with it. And I was like, damn, this thing can pose.
Yeah.
Pose better than I expected. Like a lot of people are like, man, the cape's too big on that. I disagree. I think the cape is great. You just have to, it's something extra that you have to articulate. You know, you can't just ignore the cape because it's going to get in the way or it's going to look awkward. You know, if you just try to keep it in the same pose all the time, you got to think about the cape when you're posing that figure.
Yeah.
But I recently did a series of 3 different shots. All of the poses were just from me, you know, messing with it. I'm like, okay, what else can I do?
Yeah.
Let me do a swoop down kick, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, that looks great. I got to take a shot of that. And then after I got that one done, I'm like, okay, let me do like a headlock, you know, kind of punch thing.
Yeah.
Got into the pose so easily. It was not hard for me to get that. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying, like, it's so easy to pose and it just works so well in what you're trying to do that I don't know what it was about that Mafex, but man, it just really struck a chord with me. And now I love that figure. It's like, I can't wait to do something else with it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to step away. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something else for a couple of shots. Might do that again, but
yeah,
the Mafex DC stuff, especially the Hush stuff.
Yeah.
They've been killing it. The Superman is an honorable mention.
Yeah.
I haven't really messed a whole lot with it, but man, it looks fucking fantastic.
It's such a great
nice looking figure.
Well, my last one is the Mafex Gambit. That one is like the piece of resistance. It's such a nice figure. Like that's Gambit right there, right out of the comics. It's like that excites me for Mafex to complete the Jim Lee team because I have him next to Wolverine, Cyclops. I'm like, he looks so freaking good. He hasn't made it down to where the other two, because he's been on the shelf the whole time. Like I put him in different poses. I have him doing the staff thing with the, from like Marvel's Capcom. Yeah. And then I'll switch him up and I'll put him in a different pose. But Wolverine and Scott are waiting for the Cajun down in the D-top. And that's going to be great. Eventually we get the Jean Grey. And I hope Mafex keeps going down that route and gives us the whole team. Yeah. Great quality. I was super impressed with Gambit.
Yeah, I've got that Gambit. I haven't even opened them yet. But not because I don't. Man, Prime's turning his back a lot on me on this episode. It's just, like if I open a figure, it's like I want to make sure I spend enough time with it.
Oh,
I can't just like open it and then put it to the side. Open it and put it to the side. I got to
wine it and dine it. You're like, it's all about you right now. You got my undivided attention.
Exactly. I got to fond it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. HR. Kettle corn.
Yeah. But I will get to it, and I've got more faith now in Mafex. Not that I didn't before, but I think a lot of people are like, man, I think Mafex are too expensive. I agree. They are pricey, but I will say I feel like I got what I paid for with that Batman. I'm using it more than I thought I would. I like it more than I thought I would. Just really awesome articulation. Just a lot of fun to mess with.
Nice.
I'm going to do one more.
Yep.
Because I have to mention it. It
was on my list. I did 5. This is
that's right.
One. Yeah.
It was on my list in May. It's probably not going to be a surprise to Prime on what it is, but I can't say enough about it. The amazing Yamaguchi Joker, man.
Gucci gang. Yep.
Yeah.
Knew it.
Just so fun. Talk about a fun figure. And you got to like articulation, but I will say that's one of the better Yamaguchis I've seen. There's been some horror stories, like the Wolverine I heard was really, really bad.
Yeah.
The Magneto I heard had some issues. I get it.
Both that I have.
Yeah. And I understand. They've kind of gone through this progression. I think before I jumped on the line, there were some bad ones.
Yeah.
I can't speak to those. I didn't get any of those, but man, that Joker blew me away. A figure that I could not put down after I unboxed it. I've taken so many shots with it this year since getting it. It's been one of my most used figures on my account. If you go through the history, you'll see what I'm talking about. It shows up all the time. I just can't put the damn thing down. And maybe want to go get the Harley Quinn. I dove deeper in the Yamaguchi line from getting that. One of those figures that just I was not expecting it to surprise me. I kind of bought it on a whim. I'm like, man, it's Joker. I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
And then ended up being my favorite figure of the year. It's probably hands down the best figure in my collection right now that I enjoy. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Gucci Gang. I haven't talked about Gucci in a while.
Yeah, Gucci Gang all day long. Honorable mentions? What do we have for some honorable mentions?
I like that. Well, you start because I went last time.
Okay. I would say a latest acquisition would be the Marvel Select Titanium Man. I was really impressed. Not only the size, but the way he moves, the joints and the articulation, the way it was figured out, it's very, very smooth. He has the killer ankle rockers. And even though he doesn't have double jointed elbows, he doesn't need it because they bend far enough because he's such a large figure. It looks good on him. So I was just blown away. Ever since I opened up on the enablers, which I mean now it's like been almost 2 weeks, and he's still sitting up here on my desk. Like he's still posed, and I pose him in a running pose, and he holds it. That's the thing. Like he's, for being such a big dude, he could do
a big figure.
Yeah. So he really, really impressed me. The paint scheme, the way his reputation from the comic is, you see him, he's a massive dude. The two extra heads, the two head sculpts he comes with, it was very well executed.
Nice. Yeah, it's one of those figures that I don't know a lot about the character, but I just love the design.
Yeah.
It just really, I think they really nailed the sculpt on that. It just looks huge.
Oh yeah, he's massive.
He looks like an awesome figure. Honorable mention for me is the Mezco Hazard Squad Commander Gomez.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
When I ordered it at first, I was like, it looks cool. I really like the look of the figure, but I'm like, it's just another Gomez.
Yeah.
And then I got it in hand, and I was just like, wow, this is definitely my favorite Gomez so far. Yeah. Just felt very original. I really liked the outfit. I liked how they kind of did a throwback to the 5 Points line.
Yeah.
Made me excited about the future of the Hazard Squad. At some point we'll get Death Adder.
Yeah.
At some point we'll get the Dippo mouse guy and the MacGuffin, whatever, the clamp dude. Yeah. The one that nobody voted for.
Yeah.
And then after seeing the Casino Gomez, the Jeff O'Reilly, One-Eyed Jack.
Oh, that's right.
10. I don't know. Yeah. They're not really part of the Hazard Squad, but stuff like that makes me excited for what else they can do. So yeah, the Commander Gomez and the gold version. I really like the gold version too.
Yeah, I like the gold.
Probably two of my favorite Gomez in my collection. That's awesome. Really great figures. I know you've got them too.
Yeah, the gold one's probably my favorite.
I feel like I'm getting a bit more out of the Gomez stuff. I'm like, I don't know. Can I keep collecting Gomez at the rate that they're spitting him out? Maybe not.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be a bit more selective.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it
today. They always get me. They always get me with the Gomez stuff.
It's really hard to resist because that stuff's just so fun, and they put in some unique accessories. And if you've been collecting Rumble Society enough, you've got like this just huge selection of stuff that you can use, and it's all interchangeable between Rumble Society figures. So
that's what makes it fun.
I think if you invest heavily in that line, you'll probably like them a bit more than if you're just maybe picking up one or two.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of like you kind of have to get the set to really feel like you've got a lot of value with all these because you can just swap so much stuff out.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like they're shipping the advent calendar and the holiday Gomez here pretty soon too.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking like maybe they won't make it because it's the whole shipping debacle and all that's going on. But it looks like they're going to start shipping them out, and they're converting wait lists, and they're offering them up. I think they're on the site now.
Yeah.
Both of them are available again. So that's kind of cool.
That's exciting.
Yeah, if you missed out. I want to ask you, before we move on into other topics.
Yeah.
And this might be a hard question to answer, because as I'm asking it, I'm like, man, I don't even know what I'm going to pick. But what was maybe your biggest disappointment in a figure for the year?
Oh, biggest disappointment?
Biggest disappointment. That's a tough question, because you're like,
let me look around.
I don't know. It's tough because then by the time, once you realize you're disappointed, you're like, I'm probably just going to return it.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, there hasn't been any. I've been, I guess, lucky. There hasn't been one figure where I open up, I'm like, like even Mosquash, he got a lot of heat because he was a huge disappointment. But to me, he was such a unique figure that I don't have any other fully flocked figure. So I'm like, okay, he gets a pass because he's fully flocked. Like he's all flocked up. And he's a unique piece. I have him out there, and people are like, oh, this is, and my kids always want to touch it, but I'm like, just be
don't
gentle.
Touch the flocking,
just
kids.
Don't flocking touch them.
Don't fucking touch that.
So I don't think I have one where I'm like, I'm regretting this. And I bought, and I hate to do this, but I bought a lot of Marvel Legends. But even the Marvel Legends this year, like each figure was a hit.
Killing it this year.
That I was picking up. I was a little underwhelmed with Maestro, but just Maestro by himself, he's a solid figure. Like it's that Hulk mold, So he has the butterfly joints. I wish he would have came with more accessories, but that's a very light, minor complaint, especially for Maestro. But yeah, no, if I had to pick one, it probably might have been Maestro just because of the lack of accessories.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
What about yours?
This is going to be a NECA release. Now, I was really looking forward to it because it was going to complete my TMNT movie line.
Yeah.
But the April O'Neil, I just felt like it was a kind of a big disappointment.
Yeah.
Mainly because of the knee problem.
Like,
and what kills me is they knew it was a problem and they let it go out anyways.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to fix it by releasing a new version
with knee pads.
Yeah, with better knees that don't look so horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I've unboxed that figure and I just look at it, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I got no inspiration to shoot this right now. It's just kind of a disappointment because I wanted it to be part of my TMNT shots. And I'm not saying it's a horrible figure, but the knees really just draw your attention. Like, oof, God, those knees are awful looking.
She's got meat boots.
Yeah, she's got meat boots. And they got a new 2-pack coming out, which is April and Casey.
Yeah.
Which gives you a new April. But it's just like, man, I pre-ordered that from NECA. I was really looking forward to it. I was hoping they were going to address the knee issue before it came, and then I got it in hand. I'm just like, this is kind of a disappointment. Not a horrible figure by any means, but I just feel like they could have done better, and they knew they could have done better, and they decided not to.
Right. Yeah.
It was probably too far along at that point, but
fans
were telling them like, oof, I don't like those knees, man. They don't look good. Yeah. So that's probably my biggest disappointment of the year.
There we go. There you have it, folks. Let us know what your top figs are on the comments below. Sound off.
Yeah. Tell us why we're wrong or why you agree.
No, don't tell us why we're. Just give us your list. Give us your biggest disappointments. I could care less why I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong.
The haters like to be the most vocal, so I'm just giving them an outlet. Like if you want to be a hater and you want to just shit on our list, that's cool too.
Feel free to shit on our list.
We might not give you a response, but hey, we'll let you do it. Cool, man. So we'll go into our next topic, which is pre-orders.
A little pre-order action.
Even though we're heavy into the holiday season, the pre-orders are not stopping.
They're nonstop, and I'm staying away from pre-orders. I've been kind of like just restraining myself from doing any more. I feel like I'm all pre-ordered out, especially December. I'm like, I want to do my Christmas shopping, focus on other individuals. I focused on myself for 11 months. Like, it's time to change.
Yeah. Well, I did not follow that. I've been trying to cut down during the holidays, but there was one recently, and I haven't collected this line at all.
Yeah.
But I had gone on their website and signed up for the newsletter. I got an email, and it was from Mythic Legions. And they're telling us like, hey, there's something dropping.
Yeah.
Krampus. And I went into the Discord and everybody's talking about like, what could it be? What could it be? And I'm like, maybe I'll get it. Maybe I won't. And I had been up when because it randomly went live on like a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And I checked my phone. I looked at it. I was like, dude, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks really good. Like I love the head sculpt. The body looks great. I like it's got the hooves. And me and my wife had this thing for what we call like, have you ever seen the movie The Witch?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They have a goat, and it's a black goat. They call it Black Phillip.
Yeah.
And it's like the devil. And the devil's always been represented as this black goat.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Krampus is sort of a representation of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing him in figure form, like, oh shit, that's Black Phillip. That's what I kept saying to myself. And I showed my wife, I'm like, dude, look, they're making a Black Phillip figure.
Yeah.
And it's Krampus,
Yeah.
But man, the sculpt just looked so good. The paint. Trevor, I blame him, 1/6 shooter, for his great photos, the product photos. I ended up pre-ordering one, and now I'm considering getting more into the Legions line.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
they're
they got me, man. They got me. And I saw a lot of people, like I joined. Trevor's got his own YouTube now. If you guys aren't subscribed, it's 1/6 shooter, but he does a thing called the Legions Lounge, excuse me. And you've got Bill from the Dark Lair that is on that. You've got Nate Corona 4, who's a toy photographer. He's on that too. Join them. And there's a lot of people saying that Krampus is my first Legions. Krampus is my first Legion. I think it was a good jumping on point for some people.
Yeah.
And it's the start of a new line called Figure Obscura, which is going to be like new random figures. And it's going to be like a smaller line. Because, Mythic Legion stuff, they usually put out like 8 figures at once.
Yeah.
So at Figure Obscura, they're going to be more like one-off releases that happen every once in a while. So
nice.
It was a good jumping on point for me as a new collector. So I grabbed one of those.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. There's also the Beast Kingdom. Let me just see if I can pull this up real quick. But they released a couple of new things.
Beast Kingdom is killing it. I can't wait for Beast Kingdom. I'm excited.
Yeah. They're doing something that I never would have thought we would have seen in figure form.
Yeah.
And it's
I showed my wife the picture, and she's like, "You're getting that, right?" She's like, "You need to order that."
This Joker?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're doing a 1989 Jack Nicholson Joker, which, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I never thought we'd get a figure in this scale of
You think
Jack
you'll get
Nicholson.
it before Mezco 89 Batman?
Man, at this rate, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is supposed to come out. What does it say? Does it say when it's supposed to come out?
Yeah.
November. Oh, yeah.
2022. So a year from now.
God, I hope not. But Jesus, at this rate, we've been waiting more than 2 years for that Michael Keaton. Maybe another year is not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
But traditionally, from what I've heard, is that Jack Nicholson's likeness rights are extremely expensive. And so figure companies just will not touch him because these pictures are horrible. Is it coming out that fuzzy on your side? I don't know.
It looks okay. I mean,
it looks pretty fuzzy to me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I never expected them to do a Jack Nicholson Joker, and the fact that I don't collect Beast Kingdom, but seeing this alone might get me on board. It's got cloth goods. They've got his head sculpt. He looks pretty huge.
Yeah.
He's like 8 inches tall, so he's going to be big. He won't really go with anything, but he comes with some really classic accessories.
Oh, yeah.
You got his what is that? That flower, the spitting flower, the megaphone. I don't know, some other stuff he used from the film. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked about getting it. I like you get the laughing head sculpt and the smiling one.
Yep. Very
so
cool. Yeah,
I might have to check that out.
I'm definitely gonna have to snag that one.
Yeah. And then they showed off a Michael Keaton Batman as well, which not going to be getting this. Like I've got that cover with Mezco.
Yeah. It
looks cool. It doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
One picture that always sticks out of my mind with Beast Kingdom is Unparalleled Universe Wade. He reviewed a figure that he got for free, which I don't know if he got it for free. I shouldn't say that.
Oh, spreading rumors.
I think he's got a relationship with Beast Kingdom, or at least he used to.
Yeah.
So he got this Nightmare Batman, and the head sculpt was just really rough, rough. Yeah. And he looks like he's got a tan.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
yeah.
That's right. I'm just like, what the hell is that supposed to be? Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
Which makes me a little scared about these. Like the faces look like they're renders and not actual sculpts.
Right. Yep. Once it comes out, see how it's going to look.
Are they really going to look as good as I am seeing in these shots, or are they going to look pretty rough?
Yeah.
The articulation here looks a little funky too, if you see.
The cape has me. It looks a little cheapy.
It does look pretty cheap.
It looks like
trash bag. You're right.
It's like wrinkled. Like I don't know. The cape doesn't look good.
Yeah, it looks like a black trash bag. Now you say that. Like, oh, they just cut out a head.
It's like a custom cape.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. And then that dark side, which I don't know where I saw that, and I don't see it's on BBTS. But did you see the dark side?
Yeah, I just saw the dark side.
Yeah,
yesterday.
It looks crazy. I don't know if I can find it on there. Instagram. I don't think so, but
yeah.
The dark side looks huge.
Some good pre-orders coming in at the end of the month, or end of the year, I should say.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know if you want to talk about the Rancor, but
oof.
Why do you think the Rancor failed?
I just think that the tiers weren't enticing enough for the fans to jump on board. They were underwhelming is like a nice way to say it. It was like lackluster, like it was just it was almost a slap in the face. Like, hey, you get this tier, that tier. It's like, are you kidding me? Like that should come with the initial offering.
Yeah.
All that stuff should come in. If they were to get Rancor and then here you get all this just for backing it up and then start doing the tiers, I think they would have got more people to jump on.
350 is a lot to ask for a Rancor figure.
Yeah.
And I think they had a price set like that because they're like, oh, well, Sentinel was 350 and Galactus was 400 and we can get that too, but it doesn't have light up features.
Yeah. It's not that
it doesn't look
either.
It doesn't look like it's as tall. The Sentinel and the Galactus just look very intricate and complicated, and there's all these different moving parts, and it has other features to it. To your point, the fact they didn't have the Keeper as something that was just included, I think that really turned a lot of people off.
Yeah.
The cardboard cutout, it shouldn't have been used as a tier. It should have just came with the figure like you talked about, with the bones. The bones, the cardboard cutout, and the Keeper all should have been included from day one.
Yeah.
And then they started adding these tiers of reissues of figures. That's not going to get people.
It should have been brand new figures that haven't been made, characters that people really want. Like, it's like the only way you're going to get this is by backing up the Rancor. Yeah.
Yeah. It got close. It was like 8,500.
Oh, man.
And then they didn't extend it or anything else. I think, and Hasbro's not hurting. People are like, Hasbro better learn a lesson.
They're like,
Yeah. They might learn
next
a lesson.
Lab, Rancor, and it's just like a different color.
Yeah, but they had, I think, at least three successful HasLabs that I know about this year, which was Galactus, the Transformer one, Sky Striker, which just funded yesterday. That was successful. The G.I. Joe Sky Striker.
That's a cool one.
You're talking like close to $10 million just with those three.
Yeah.
So Hasbro's all about the money. I was in the Unparalleled Universe Tuesday stream, and he was talking about it. And I agree. Hasbro just wants to make money, and they're trying to do that as much as they possibly can. If they have one failure out of the three successful ones, they're going to do another HasLab sometime soon. And Rancor is probably going to come back at some point.
Right.
But it was interesting that it actually did fail because it was a little surprising. I thought it was going to be successful at some point.
Yeah.
Cool. So we will go into our plastic confessions.
Plastic confessions time. This week, I'm actually going to get a chip because I've acquired so much. No, nothing here, nothing up this sleeve.
After last week with the box, you didn't even know it was in the box.
No, I know.
If you guys missed it, he was on the enablers, and he was like an unboxing madman on there. He's just like boom, boom, boom.
Had too much.
Unboxing all kinds of stuff.
I couldn't even finish unboxing everything.
I was going to say, I don't think you even got through all of it.
No.
I'm pretty light this week. Shout out to Nose Rain, Richie. If you're a toy photographer, you know who this guy is. But he was posting some stuff for sale. I've been telling myself the same thing that's Prime telling himself. Like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to buy anything. Sure enough, he posted a figure that I've been after for months. Yeah. And I told Prime this earlier on, but the standard Sovereign Knight, baby. And this thing is unopened. It's brand spanking new. I don't know how he didn't open this thing. Maybe he had duplicates.
Yeah.
I've been after the standard Sovereign Knight for a long time. It's probably one of my favorite Batmans of all time from Mezco.
Yeah.
I love the PX. For some reason, I always skipped on the standard. I didn't get it. I didn't think I needed it at the time. And if you guys have been in the market for it, it's very hard to find for a good price. He gave me pretty much close to retail on it. So that's cool. I could not pass it up. So thank you, Richie. I appreciate you, buddy. Very happy to have that one. All right. Nasty Nate's dirty trick for the week. And I realized I don't even have a button for that. So
time for the nasty Nate and his tricks.
So my dirty trick for this week, which is, people are going to be like, yeah, this isn't a trick. But after you're done doing a photo session, whether or not you transfer the photo from your laptop to your phone or whatever it is, look at the photo in Instagram. Because one thing that Instagram does is it crops your photos.
Mm-hmm.
So this has happened to me many, many times. I've had to adjust the way I shoot because of this. But you'll see a shot in your camera that looks great. And I shoot a lot in portrait. So my stuff is long, not wide. So I'll get it exactly how I want, framed, no wasted space, no nothing. I love how it looks. I go onto my Instagram. It's cutting off like the top and bottom portion to a point where I can't even see part of the figure anymore.
Yeah.
Like part of his head's cut off, or I move it up and his legs are cut off. And I try to get the full figure in the shot as much as I can sometimes.
Right.
And it really pisses me off after I've done a good photo session. I like the shot. I put it in Instagram, like, man, that doesn't even fucking fit. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And there's stuff. There's this one I use called Spark Post, which you can add a border to it, which helps elongate it, but it's not by much. You're talking about like very small changes. So if I can recommend anything, if you get a shot that you like, put it on your phone, act like you're going to post it on Instagram. You don't have to edit it. Just see if it fits the way that you want. If it doesn't, adjust your focus, make it a little bit more of a wider focus so that you've got more of the figure in the shot and maybe some empty space on the top and the bottom. You won't see that when you post it.
Right. Yeah.
Also, it helps when I look at it on my phone. I can see the lighting a little bit better. I look at it on my laptop too, but sometimes on the phone I can just really kind of see things that I didn't see before. Like I have got the focus on the chest instead of the head. So his head's a little fuzzy. The chest looks really nice and clear, but you want the face to be probably the most clear thing. That's what people are going to look at first. So check that stuff out. You can look at the lighting. Don't break down your setup. Don't break down the lighting. Keep everything the exact same. Keep that thing on a tripod like Prime talked about last week. Get a tripod if you don't have one already. And that way, if you don't like it on your phone, you can make a really quick adjustment. Super easy to fix the problem. You don't have to reset the whole damn thing up again. Because I know a lot of us, if they have to reset up a shot, they're just going to forget it and move on. Like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
Put it on your phone. See how it looks on Instagram before you move on. Because you might be surprised. It might not come out the way you expect. It's happened to me many, many times.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Now
time for
our figure
aficionado. And this week, this figure aficionado was nominated by one of our listeners, Malls Halls. I know we've seen him in some of the lives and stuff. So he sent us a nominee. Check them out. Very cool. Mo Dark Knight. He is this week's figure aficionado. So we want to, put a spotlight on his account.
Yeah, if you guys are interested, if anybody listening, if you're not watching, you spell the name MOE, Dark, and then Night. So there's not two Ks. It goes Dark and then Night as in nighttime. His name is Michael Mo Scott. Looks like he's, kind of getting started out. He's got 90 shots on his Instagram, and he's doing some awesome stuff. Like he's in the beginning phases of doing toy photography. I love this Toy Story one that he did.
Yeah,
really great sense of scale. I like how he's got Woody looking up at this person. You got Buzz there. You got the army guys. It brings me right back into the movie. You can see the BTS with that. He did a cool Spider-Man shot with Doc Ock and two Spideys, that No Way Home hype. That looks really cool. I like the city background in that. Really awesome Superman versus Black Adam shot, which, man, I hope that they give us something like this in the DCEU.
Yeah.
Now that they're spending so much attention on The Rock as Black Adam.
Black Adam, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see Shazam and Superman teaming up to fight Black Adam because he can take them both on easily. It would be a really cool movie to see that go down. So this gets me hyped for that. You got Splinter with TMNT, which is my jam. But yeah, he does some great work. He's really doing some diverse stuff. He's got outdoor shots. He's got indoor shots.
Yeah, he's got some like Naruto stuff. He's got different lines, different characters. That's really cool.
Lots of different lines and stuff. So yeah, go check him out. Go support him. Looks like a great photographer. Thank you to Malls Halls for the suggestion. We love stuff like that. Anybody else listening, if you have a suggestion, like me and Prime don't see everything. We try to pick out guys that we know and maybe guys that we've discovered ourselves,
or gals.
Yeah, or gals, excuse me. That's right. Yeah, guys or girls that are doing toy photography. There's a lot of them out there, and there's probably a lot of people that I haven't discovered yet.
Yeah.
So please, like Malls Halls, please in the comments, let us know somebody that you would like us to shout out. Really appreciate those suggestions.
Yeah.
So shout out to you, Mo Dark Knight. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're killing it.
Awesome. And that brings us to another conclusion, guys. We've reached the end of the episode. As always, feel free to check out our site. We're going to be working on new merch. And you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all under Prime to the First.
You guys can follow me, Nate, figurefan _ Nate. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I'm not going to say Facebook anymore. That's dead and gone. Yeah,
it's dead.
Instagram and TikTok. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. You have been listening to The Figure Booth.
See you guys later.